Abandon North Korea. Most of what we know about North Korea comes in dribs, drabs, and trickles of information, difficult to independently verify, but smuggled out of the country as carefully as those trying to escape the unrelenting, horrifying, and abusive regime. Among untold levels of human rights abuse, indoctrination, and brutal punishment are the intense restrictions placed upon every aspect of daily life, some of which are so ridiculous to be laughable, if that were even allowed. Laugh. Whoever said laughter was the best medicine clearly hasn't been to North Korea. In 2021, according to an anonymous source, the country announced that North Koreans would be forbidden from laughing for a whole 11 days, in line with the 10-year death anniversary of their second leader, Kim Jong-il. Alcohol, leisure activities, and birthday celebrations were banned. And on his actual death date of December 17th, citizens weren't even allowed to go grocery shopping. All of this needed strict monitoring too. So, during the anniversary period, law enforcement officials were reportedly not even allowed to sleep, as they needed to dedicate all their time to ensuring no one was enjoying themselves. As a man responsible for flagrant human rights abuses including forced labor camps, generational prison sentences, and public executions, it's no surprise Kim Jong-il's death anniversary came with additional violations. According to one source, if you were seen drinking during the period, you were classed as an ideological criminal. Then there was very little chance of being seen again. Certainly not a laughing matter. You literally weren't even allowed to die, or at least have it acknowledged during the mourning period, assuming you did have the audacity to pass away. Your family wasn't allowed to cry, and your body needed to stay firmly where it was until the full 10 days of mourning had passed. At least you wouldn't feel much like laughing. Sarcasm. Some say sarcasm is the lowest form of wit, and it would appear Kim Jong-un agrees. He certainly doesn't want to hear it anywhere in his beloved North Korea anyway. In many nations, sarcasm is used as a scathing yet subtle way to critique and comment on national governments. In America, Thanks Obama became a sarcastic response to both the successes and failures of the Obama administration. In Britain, where it's used to great effect at all times, but during the 2024 general election, references to the lack of Sky TV in Rishi Sunak's house growing up were right. But in North Korea, it's an indirect criticism of Kim Jong-un's government and perceived as a hostile action that could result in the perpetrator vanishing faster than the supreme leader's political opponent. Two phrases especially seem to rile up Kim Jong-un. This is all America's fault and a fool who cannot see the outside world. The former references North Korea's long-held tendency to hold America responsible for atrocities occurring within its own borders, and the latter reportedly refers to Kim's refusal to acknowledge celebrations that mark the end of World War II. Of course, in line with North Korea's general attitude to freedom of thought and speech, sarcasm comes with dire consequences. Liberty in North Korea reported that using sarcasm can lead to not only you, but your whole family ending up in a dreaded political prison camp. According to security officials who warned local residents of this new policy, the best thing to do at all times would be to simply keep your mouth shut. Thanks, Kim Jong-un. Denim jeans. In March 2024, Alan Titchmarsh and his 2010 program Garden Secrets had the dubious honor of appearing on North Korean television, or part of him at least. Apparently, the North Korean censors are so afraid of the population seeing what Alan Titchmarsh could dig up that the usually hour-long episodes were edited to just 15 minutes, with Titchmarsh dubbed over by North Korean narrators and his denim blue jeans blurred in an attempt to hide the scandalous piece of clothing. The presenter took it all in his stride, saying, "I've never seen myself as a dangerous, subversive imperialist. I'm generally regarded as rather cozy and pretty harmless." So actually, it's given me a bit of street cred, really, hasn't it? Middle-aged gardeners aside, according to Radio Free Asia, this was all part of an attempt to discourage capitalist fashion trends in North Korea. But as always, the particular focus lay on how women in their 20s and 30s dress. Allegedly, morality officers like the Socialist Patriotic Youth League organization would police not only denim or skin-tight jeans, but ensure women weren't wearing mini-skirts or branded or colored t-shirts, as they promoted capitalist ideal. If caught dressing inappropriately, these women could have their clothes cut up, endure public shaming sessions, and have to write letters acknowledging the heinous crime of wanting to look good. Despite this, brave youth in North Korea continue to challenge the establishment in the very few ways they had available, wearing jeans and brightly colored tops where they could. As per one young woman who said, "If I wanted to wear something like a pair of jeans, I had to sneak around. I'd take back alley streets, or I'd hide if I saw a patrol officer coming my way." Haircuts, arguably even more gregarious than wearing denim jeans in public, is coloring your hair anything other than black, bleaching it, or wearing it in an outlandish style. That is, any style other than one of the few socially accepted haircuts. Men with hair longer than 5 centimeters were subjected to a state-run harassment television campaign in 2005. Abruptly being stopped on the street by camera crews, those unfortunate to be caught with longer than average hair were grilled over their unconventional appearance, while their name and address were shown on screen. It was claimed long hair hurts, quote, human intelligence development, and consumes a great deal of nutrition, end quote. Why this did not affect women with long hair was not touched upon. You could get any of these fashionable looks at one of North Korea's government-approved hairdressers. But they aren't the only hairdressers available in the country. Unsanctioned hair salons exist across the nation, trading in scissor sniffs and brown-colored hair dye, providing North Koreans with a small way to defy the totalitarian regime. Defiance costs, however, with these salons charging 5 times more to give you the freedom of a slightly different style. Punishment for having unorthodox haircuts often added up to being given a stern talking to. Marriage and divorce, much like laughing during the mourning period for Kim Jong-il celebrating a marital union on one of the leader's birthdays, the 15th of April or 16th of February, is also prohibited. Other restrictions include anything that could be considered as stemming from the West, such as white wedding dresses or lifting the bride on your back for a photo op. But worse than getting married in white is the mere notion of the idea that marriages aren't always forever. While divorce isn't technically completely banned in North Korea, it's extremely hard to do. Not only did both parties have to agree, but so too did the government. And the government wasn't too fond of agreeing. According to some personal accounts, courts actually refused to grant more than 1 divorce per day. And even then, it was reluctantly. Getting a divorce in North Korea has always been tricky. In 1956, it was decided that administrative agencies were too generous in the number of granted, and so it became illegal for them to do so. After that, it was simply down to the courts to decide whether a divorce was permissible. Luckily, savvy North Koreans get around these draconian rules by simply not getting married. Instead, they would perform wedding ceremonies and then just not register for around 3 years. This effectively allows them to trial married life without being sworn in for life. Like in many other countries where it's common for couples to live together before marriage, North Koreans do the same, simply saying they are in the process of registering their marriage. At least now you can try that line on your conservative grandma when she asks you about you and your partner. While enforcement of these rules varied from verbal reprimands to beatings, they show the extraordinary extent the Kim regime strived to restrict the basic rights of its people under the pretense of socialism. We uploaded all the videos that we have to censor from YouTube to our Patreon. Right now, You can watch uncensored videos on the Battle of Cantillon, medieval warfare, and the Sherman tank, all on Patreon. History is epic. Watch it uncensored.